So the first step is you want to multiply out the brackets. So what we shall end up with is BHX. So um, BHX plus BH is equals to DG minus DX. The next step is getting rid of BH, so minus BH minus BH. BH minus BH will be 0, so you'll be left with BHX will be equal to DG minus DX minus BH. Okay, the next step is to bring the excesses on one side. So add DX, add DX, that will be 0. So what we shall be left with is BHX plus DX will be DG minus BH. Factorize X out, so X into BH plus D. Just checking that everything is fine. Yep, will be equal to DG minus BH. Okay, so we need to find X, so which means you are going to divide each side by BH plus D. So we divide by BH plus D. What we shall end up with is this divided by that will be equal to 1. So X will be equal to DG minus BH over BH plus D. Okay, and that will be our final solution. Example 6, rearrange to make X the subject. So the first step that you're going to do here is to get rid of the denominator. So we are going to multiply the whole of this, multiply by X minus A, and multiply this by X minus A as well. So these two, X minus A divided by X minus A, will be equal to 1. So what you are left with is this. Y multiplied by X minus A is equals to X plus A. Okay? Multiply these ones here. Okay, so from this equation, what we can do is we can start by getting rid of the brackets, multiply these guys out. So yx minus ya will be equal to x plus a. And then the opposite of subtracting ya is adding ya. So we add ya on each side, add ya here, add ya here. The reason is because we want to get rid of anything that's related to x on the left. So that's gone. So what we end up with is yx is equals to x plus a plus ya. The next step is we want to bring excess on the left. So subtract x, that's gone. So what you're left with is yx minus x. So yx minus x is equals to a plus ya. The next step is to factorize out the x. So take out the x. Y minus 1 is equals to a plus ya. And then the next step is to divide by y minus 1. y minus 1 divided by y minus 1 be equal to 1, just like 4 divided by 4. So x will be equal to a plus ya over y minus 1. Example 7, rearrange the formula to make x the subject. So the first step will be to factorize x from the right hand side. So what we shall end up with is e is equals to x into a half v squared plus gh. The opposite of multiplying by a half v squared plus gh is to divide by a half v squared plus gh. And we have to perform the same operation, division on each side. Those ones cancel to give you 1 because you're dividing by itself. So x will be equal to e over a half v squared plus gh. Okay, last question. Rearrange to make x the subject. The first step will be to multiply all of this by 5x plus g. Multiply this by 5x plus g. And 5x plus g divided by 5x plus g will be equal to 1. So on the left hand side, we have h into 5x plus g is equal to 3n minus x. And we can go ahead and multiply these guys out. What we shall end up with is 5hx plus gh is equals to 3n minus x. Then what we can do is subtract gh from each side. So subtract gh from each side. What we shall end up with is 5hx will be equal to 3n minus x minus gh. And then the next step is to bring the x's on one side. So add x on each side. X and x do cancel because negative x plus x is 0. So what you're left with is 5hx plus x is equals to 3n minus gh. Factorize out the x. So x into 5h plus 1 is equal to 3n minus gh. And then the next step is dividing by 5h plus 1 because you want to be left with x. So this do cancel. So x will be equal to 3n minus gh over 5h plus 1.